So hello again, and welcome to the latest in a series of podcast character breakdowns on the Secrets of the Damned series. We're talking with author Jimmy Shaw this morning about a very key female character in the Kirk. Jim, can you tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, this is Linda Kidney. She's very important. She has a unique role to play in this story. There are three characters in the book originally who meet the monster, and Linda's one of them. She's actually attacked by the monster. And she goes on the record with the reporter that interviews her as saying she was attacked by a vampire. And the paper writes this, even though the reporter gets some flack from his editor because he thinks the guy's out to lunch, and he says we're not writing a tabloid here, but and nevertheless it gets printed, and this story becomes something that our band of heroes is ravishingly reading, and they throw it into Max Slip's face. Well, now this gets Max going, maybe I should at least talk to her. And when he talks to her, these two have instant chemistry together. And Max is thinking about her quite a bit, and then he finally decides, I'm just going to get her to help me with this case. Now, the reason why he gets her to help, and the reason why he's reluctant, is we have to tell you what or who Linda Kidney is. Linda Kidney is a witch. She's the town pariah, and she is barely tolerated in this Bible Belt. So, she makes her money as a fortune teller or a psychic, and she makes quite a bit of money. She's actually independently wealthy. But when she gets attacked by the monster, this brings her into Max's circle. So Max takes her in and decides that he's going to get her to help him solve the grave robbings at first. And it's through her psychic abilities that they find out that this is linked with the rash of murders. And it goes on from there. She might be my favorite character in the novel.
Now, the character is not directly based on anything in Carleton County, but there's been legends of witches and Wiccans dating back in Woodstock for a number of years. Could you talk about maybe the significance of some of the headstones in the Broadway Cemetery that tie into the character a little bit?
One headstone in particular, Lydia Rosterson. And I actually had her in mind I had two people in mind when I wrote this character. One is a woman who I've been friends with for, decades. I love her to death, and she's a psychic, and she's scary, what she can tell you. But anyway, I based Linda heavily on her, but I also based her on the Lydia Rosterson character. Although she doesn't share the same fate as Lydia Rosterson does, she's still, nevertheless, she's Wiccan. She practices her witchcraft, and she's proud of it. She calls herself a white witch, not a black witch, and she takes the time to explain the difference to Max, because Max comes at her, of course, with a religious mindset. So she has to break down this religious mindset this cop has, always, bulldozing her with these views. So it's quite interesting how it goes on.
Now, I have Wiccans in my family, and it's something I'm learning more and more lately, because within my own family there was Wiccans actually in my family dating back to the 1800s, but he didn't talk much about it. But Carleton County is specifically being a Bible Belt. This is kind of used as a kind of a character in the book in a way, because the religious aspect of Woodstock plays a big part in any writings about Woodstock, fiction and non-fiction. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Well, the part it plays in Woodstock is basically the mindset that Max has. And I only briefly just mentioned some of the things that Linda goes through. I don't spend much time on that particular thing. I like the dynamics between Max and Linda because of the Bible Belt thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple other characters. They kind of are main characters, but they're not main characters. The Agnews, and he's a retired minister. He looks after the Kirk, and there's a whole lot of stuff goes on that end, which that's a whole different story that's weaved into it. And we'll kind of just leave that as a big mystery for you guys to discover.
But something I want to impart to myself for working with Jimmy in a project. The Secrets of the Damned series are basically stories of the damned or the people in crisis in the book. Jim has mentioned many times, this is not about Satanism or promoting any group of evil. It's basically stories, the secrets of the damned. And anybody gets confused, I mean, we're not hard to find or talk to about it. We explain the plot better, but because we're in the Bible Belt, there always could be one or two people would think that just because it says secrets of the damned, that if you read it, they become damned themselves. And this is not, it's a story.
No, it's not an anti-religious story.
No.
So you guys are all safe. You can keep your religious beliefs. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I just use these motifs as a way of conveying larger ideas, maybe not even larger ideas, but just it's a way of propelling my story forward. It makes it interesting. And who out there doesn't like to be scared? I love to get the crap scared out of me. It's fun.
Well, because, all the emotions, fear and love and, renewal and loss and renewal, it's part of who we are as human beings. And what's kind of ironic, Jim's a Baha'i, I'm a born-again Christian, and we're working together on a project called Secrets of the Damned. And why I'm working on a project, because I respect Jim as a writer. He's been a friend of mine for over 30 years. And we want to see as a creative team where we can bring this series. Again, we like to see it to become a mini-series or the pilot stage. We want to get a script done. Jim, you can talk a little bit about that as well. We need your money is your mantra.
All your money.
All your money.
No.
Tax deductible, of course.
Jeff's the driver of the movie thing because he believes in it. And I believe in it too. I actually do. I had more people tell me that they actually could see the thing play out in their head as a movie.
I can too, yeah. I can too.
So I'm thinking, well, great. But here you kind of have the mindset sometimes is, well, geez, look at where I am. Look at where these movies have to be. I'm not connected with the movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm looking at a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But the only problem is I have to stop focusing on how high the mountain is, and I just have to start climbing the first hill.
One step at a time.
That's all you got to do, the first hill. And then you get to another spot where you find help to get to the next hill. So I have no doubt that something's going to come of it. It's too good a story series not to be seen on the big screen.
And just an anecdote on this, and I always like to toot my own horn because I toot the horn of my readers who supported me. I come from a community of Gravel Hill, New Brunswick that literally had less than 100 people in the 1970s. 1975, we had no paved road. We had difficulty getting to work. We had difficulty with services. And within 11 years, I was a news reporter. And by 2010, 2011, with the Bugle here in Woodstock, we won Best Newspaper in Canada. I won Best Sports Coverage in Canada. I got nominated for one of the best sports photos in Canada that year. We won major awards. And I'm not that good. I came from nothing, and I know when dreams can come true if you put your mind to it. So if anybody's listening to this podcast, just remind yourself of a dream you've had or a dream you'd like to come true. You can hit your dreams. And this is something that's it's a legacy project for Jim, and I'm trying to help with that legacy. And if you want to tell the listener, Jim, about your dreams coming true with this book series.
Well, you know what? I've had, when they first were published, I didn't get a very good experience out of the whole thing, and I almost said, enough is enough. I'm done with this stuff. In fact, there was a time that I did say enough is enough because one of the publishing houses owned the rights to the second book for 7 years. So I said, I'm not going to write another thing for 7 years. We'll see who outlasts who. So, but through people that I know on Facebook who are other authors, they all went indie, and they were telling me, why don't you become an indie author? And I thought, well, what is this? So I looked into it, and I have all the control. I could have said, nope, the book's going to be called Forbidden Dreams, not Vandenberg House, Forbidden Dreams. I could have said that if I had complete control. So now I'm now an indie author, and I'm enjoying it. I'm finding some things difficult because there's a learning curve. So that's a dream that's come true now, is I'm seeing these things being out there again. People are getting them and responding to them and thinking they're awesome. And then when I was a little boy, I used to listen to radio dramas. And I could hear, I remember a series on the radio they did of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I heard all the different action noises and all the different voices. And wow, my imagination just went in 7 different directions at once. So now, listening to what Nora's doing with the novel and hearing all the voices she makes and how she's bringing it to life, that's a dream that's absolutely coming true. And I'm going, oh my goodness. this takes me back to when I was a kid. I can sit back and click the little play button and listen to Nora and do all her magic, and it's magic. What this woman's doing is magic. So this is a dream that's coming true. So you see, it's like dominoes. Things start progressing and falling. So I think this movie thing, I think waves are going to be made. I really do.
I think we are doing waves because we didn't have a podcast channel 6 weeks ago. We're nearing 1,000 views. We've got people from throughout North America, from BC Coast, Chicago, Maine, all over is listening. And you know something, we're explaining to the public, I'd say it's a preamble because people have read the book already, where we're explaining to people the process, and if they support us, we'll support them. It's a copacetic relationship. If you love this type of genre, Jimmy and myself are promoting something that you like, pass the word, who knows?
Well, can I mention something about the Kickstarter?
Sure.
We're going to do a Kickstarter in the new year. And I firmly believe that success happens to groups of people.
Yes.
It doesn't happen to one person individually. If
Yeah.
someone's going to take all the credit, they're lying to you because there's a dozen people behind them that have worked their asses off to make them look good. I realize that. And when we do this Kickstarter thing, we're devising it in such a way that we're trying to give as much back as possible. And that will be DVDs signed, books
Yes.
that I've, my novels
Guest shots
signed
in the
for them.
series. Guest shots in the series.
Yeah, there's going to be the two top levels will be one, you get to hang out with the cast and crew and watch how they make the movie. That's cool.
Yeah.
Or even higher, you'll get to actually pay to play, so to speak. What you give us, we're giving back because you're going to get to be in the movie, which is kind of cool to be able to say, I'm on the screen. So there's and then there's be dinner things that people can do.
Oh yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. For giving back.
Yeah. Now, before we wrap up, this is going to be the last of the character studies, and also talking about the podcast, helping promote the book series. Jim, thank you so much for these series of interviews. Always a pleasure. And I must say to everybody that's been checking the podcast Secrets of Dam and my individual podcast, thank you so much. Like I said 6 weeks ago, this was just a dream, and I've always wanted to expand on my career by helping out people to help me out in other part of my career. Jim was one of my mentors when I was in college here in Woodstock, and our friendship continues to build through this project. But if I had the money, I'd cut him a check right now, but unfortunately most journalists, as you know, are 5 cents away from a bubble gum.
As are most authors.
Because we're starving like Marvin sometimes, no pun intended. So again, Secrets of Dam on Facebook, myself, JJ Carrier, and Jim Shaw on Facebook.
Oh, mention to them how well the fundraiser for the food banks
Well, the fundraising food bank went well. We've ticket sales have been a combined total over $700. And if you're still looking for tickets, 272-1880, or contact us on Facebook and we'll put some aside. Thank you to Sobeys and Superstore and all the staff there for helping out. We're going to maybe do another day this weekend, but unfortunately I have some Secrets of the Dam business to do in St. John, to visit my vampire buddies down there. They have a gaming group involving vampire fiction, so I may be talking to some of my buddies down there. So again, as you are to Kirk, you will be to Kirk. Continue to support all independent authors besides ourselves as well. If you know a local author that you can help out either verbally or monetarily.
And here's how you help them. Go on Amazon. It doesn't have to be my book, but buy someone's book.
Yep.
And leave a review.
A positive review.
Because that helps.
Yes. Word of mouth's always important because, that's how Stephen King started. He never had confidence in his books until word of mouth passed it around. So, again, everybody on December morning, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to my Jewish family, and Happy Holidays, of course. And as Jim likes to say,
hi, Stephen. I hope you're listening. I enjoy your books.
Be to Kirk.
Ta-ta.
Goodbye.